Welcome to UNCAGED, a show that celebrates thought leadership from today's top business leaders. The program provides a voice to amazing executives from around the globe who are shaping the world of business today and mapping the path to the commerce of tomorrow. Today, we're speaking with Mark Hipperson. Hey, Mark, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks very much, Ben. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm excited to go through everything that you're working on, Mark. Mark is the founder and CEO of Ziglu. Ziglu is a modern neobank offering crypto, FX, and investments. I should add that it is licensed and regulated. So we have a very special, I'd say, regulated business in all of these new forms of finance. And so I'm excited to go through what you're working on at Ziglu. But before we get there, tell us a little bit about yourself and your career.
Yeah, happy to, Ben. So just very quickly in 30 seconds. After leaving uni, I did computer science at uni. I went into Barclays Bank and finished up the head of technology for the Barclays Group and deputy CTO for Barclays UK. I then founded and sold in 2003, 3 years later, my first technology business, which was an internet banking business. I then took a bit of time out, but then joined a company called BGSS. It was a consulting business in the UK, and grew that to a reasonable size. Software development and IT consulting, run that for a few years. I was a GM there for 10 years or so. And then importantly, I guess, you might be aware the laws changed in 2013, 2014. The EBA, European Banking Authority, empowered local regulators, in our case, the FCA and a PRA, to introduce more competition in the marketplace, which gave me the shove to found Starling Bank, which is one of the challenger banks in the UK. When we got our banking license, I left to do Ziglu, but one of the important things that I wanted to learn, it was relatively nascent, the learnings about crypto and FX, and I wanted to get to grips with those things. So I worked with a friend's company for a couple of years, learned the intricacies of the technology behind how all the exchanges worked from a crypto perspective and also from an FX perspective. Once I got to grips with that, I founded Ziglu, which would be about 3.5 years or so ago now. And
and I mean, I think this may be the first time I've read a modern neobank. So what is a modern neobank?
Well, I guess we provide banking services. So we do everything that a challenger bank does. So sort code, account number, IBAN allows you to be able to do the sort of things you can with your challenger bank, whether it's Starling or a Monzo or whatever. In addition to that, we also provide crypto services. So we have 10 curated cryptos, which enables you to be able to buy, sell, hold, send and spend those cryptocurrencies. We're just about to launch crypto spend on cards, so you can actually spend your crypto as well. We've got some investment accounts, 2 accounts that pay 5% interest on both Bitcoin and also Sterling as well. Would you believe? Very, very popular, as you might imagine. That product is almost like our bestseller in terms of, as you might imagine, paying 5% interest on Sterling. We launched it in the beginning of the year and it's been massively popular. And then we also do FX as well. So we do Sterling, dollar, and euro FX as well. We're about to launch a whole range of things, but I'll talk about those later.
Yeah, I'm excited to learn more about what you guys are rolling out. I think that if anyone who has explored this, the emerging distributed finance space and all of the breakthroughs in FinTech, we are truly living in almost like a watershed moment in terms of the banking industry. So tell me a little bit about Ziglu in the context of that broader business landscape.
Yeah, so it's a good question, because back in sort of 2015 or so, when the challenger banks that first launched, they did an amazing job of changing people's relationship with their bank. You know, gone are the old days where your bank would make you feel awkward and difficult with taking your money out and moving it. And you know, these are the banks, remember, that missold as PPI and fixed LIBOR rates and generally charge whatever they could whenever they could. You know, you went overdrawn last week, and you just receive a letter to say you've been charged £25 a day for every day you've been overdrawn. so much therefore to address and get right. So when we did the original sort of, I guess, challenger, we addressed that and put the customer first, and help them manage their money more effectively. And we aimed at that sort of slightly younger demographic, the 18 to 45, that had become quite disenfranchised with their banks in most cases, and wanted a better relationship. And I'd like to believe, turn that on its head and put the power in the hands of the customer, which is how it should be. Of course, it's their money, it's their data, importantly as well. So what we do at Ziglu, we've evolved that. Starling, Monzo, and those sort of guys were sort of 7 years or so ago now. So what we've done is add in the things that people want today, which are proper access to real interest rates on investments. Importantly, crypto as well. We're a crypto focused product because that's what people said that they wanted, and there was no regulated company out there that enable people to have simple, straightforward access to crypto services. So before we even wrote a line,
I mean, it's such a good point, Mark, because I actually was in a meeting at the end of last year where it was a bunch of private wealth advisors, and these individuals were working with very, very wealthy families, actually, and their portfolios were so tried and true, like the same things, everything that you would imagine they covered off. And when I mentioned things like crypto or even ETFs, they were kind of like, I don't know, we don't really trust that stuff. And it was kind of such an odd thing, because when you talk to 20s and 30 somethings, that's their lifeblood, right? So there is a huge generational moment that we're seeing here.
Yeah, you make a really good point. It's one of the things that it's overused, but I am quite passionate about what we're trying to achieve here. Crypto is just the first asset class we're launching in terms of an investment. But the younger demographic, if you look at the States, they tend to invest in their businesses far more than we do. There's a closer relationship in terms of investing, whatever it is, 20, 50, 100 pounds, $100 in their case, a month in the businesses they want by buying shares in Apple or Google or one of the other big companies. And we don't have that culture. It's certainly our younger demographic over here, because it's so difficult. And the financial advisors tend to operate at the very highest level of people earning 100 grand plus a year and more, and there's nothing there, or very little there in the marketplace, that really helps that younger demographic think about their future, other than a pension, which no one in their 20s really thinks about, because it's a problem for the future, not today. So what we're trying to do is address that and say, look, crypto's interesting and fun, and you should put some money in it, but think about that in the context of what you're spending every month and what you're investing every month, and make sure it works for you. So we will be doing other types of investments in due course, into stocks and shares, both over here and over the pond as well, different funds, and maybe different commodities as well, because that's what we want to try and make sure that everybody has fair and simple access to investments.
I love it. Well, so the last couple of years have been so interesting in terms of FinTech and distributed finance. It's been kind of an interesting backstory during the pandemic. We've seen all of these companies launch, and all of this crazy stuff happen with Reddit and all these groups. And I would just be curious how the pandemic ride has been for you, and then also what insights are coming out of that for you.
Well, interestingly, we launched 3 months into the pandemic, which was difficult. We spoke, just before this, about how difficult it is to do things and launch businesses and found businesses in the pandemic, and it is. But I guess what it enabled us to do, we were very clear of what we had to do in June 2020, which is when we launched. I guess it's getting on for 2 years ago now, certainly 19 months or so. But so when Boris sent everyone home, we were a week before that. I asked everyone to go home and work from home, make sure the environments were set up so we could work, expecting this to happen for maybe 2 or 3 months or so, not 2 years. so we were ready for it, and it enabled absolute focus for us as a team to get the product out and make sure it was as good as it could possibly be. And I think what we've got a great team of people that come from both a banking background, but also a fintech entrepreneurial background. And we've combined those into one team of people that get the importance of both those two things. And you can't do one without that. You can't be an entrepreneur and an innovator when you're delivering banking products and resilient, reliable products without understanding the importance of customer and resilience.
Right.
And you can't, from a banking perspective, expect a young entrepreneurial company to work through all the complexities of risk and compliance management without thinking of the practicalities of how it means in terms of delivering a great solution in the hand of a customer. So those two things came together for us and enabled us to be able to work hard, solidly, at your desk at home or on the kitchen table at home, and really enabled more focus on delivery. So it worked for us. And on the side of a customer, they were at home and they had a bit more time on their hands, and they were starting to read about crypto and asking for crypto solutions. So as I was sort of saying earlier, getting a product out there which was licensed and regulated. We were the first in the UK to have a fully regulated product for both crypto and e-money, and we're the only company that has a license in the UK and the whole of Europe for crypto and e-money. So putting, and we did that because there's many companies out there that put the things up to regulators and therefore, in my view, their customers. And we want to come at it from the other perspective, which was, look, you can be an entrepreneurial company that does interesting, innovative things and work with regulators to put the customer first and make sure they're protected, make sure they're clear on what they're buying. And that's what we did. And it's gone very well down very well with the customers, and they like what we're doing. We know we're growing at sort of best part of 10% month on month. Wow. And we've got a set of products that I'm happy with, but there's a whole raft of things that we're looking to do later this year that I'm obviously happy to talk about as well.
Yeah, no, I think that the opportunity is immense. The need for a credible, regulated solution is so timely because we're moving out of that hype phase and we're moving into this phase of people really having high levels of curiosity, high levels of motivation to really push forward into this space, and they need credible solutions. So tell me a little bit more. I mean, is that going to be the story of 2022? We're going to see more focus on making this more mainstream, or where are we in this pathway?
Well, that's a good question. So we wanted to make it more mainstream because, obviously there's exchanges out there, but it was really difficult for the average person in the street to be able to navigate those exchanges and feel comfortable that when they sent money there, it would ever arrive. And when it did arrive, it would be looked after and safeguarded and protected. And then if you send your money to one of these exchanges, you get their price with their commission. And then you have to wait for the deal to be done. And then to get your money out, convert it back, it can take days. And you don't know whether your bank will receive it because, right. Banks in the UK have got a very negative attitude towards crypto and crypto exchanges, of course, because they see it ultimately as competition. So they make it very difficult for people to send money in and send money out. It's not just that. There are some valid AML concerns that they have or money laundering concerns that they have with crypto businesses. So, right. So they have made it difficult for people to move money around with crypto businesses. And therefore, when you're dealing with these third-party exchanges or these exchanges, it's quite a difficult experience with lots of graphs and lots of unexplained products that you can buy. And what we said is, look, it's simple. We've got 10 products out there, 10 cryptos. They're all cryptos that you would have heard of. We curate those, make them available. You can buy them and you can sell them and you can hold them. We'll give you the best price. And I think daily we check our prices and invariably we're the best price in the UK. Wow. We charge a flat commission, and they were still the best price in the UK. So we go to multiple exchanges and give you the real price, the best price in real time. So that customer first approach, all our cryptos, all the crypto we hold for you is insured as well. So you don't have that concern. So we try and make it simple and straightforward, and we're about to launch. I've seen the screens that the guys have been showing me internally about our launch. We're about to launch crypto spend on cards as well. which will be a nice feature to add, so you can pick which cryptos you want to spend. We also, as you know, do FX as well. So wherever you are in the world, you can spend in your local currency. You can buy FX and hold it in your account, buy dollars and euro, etc., and spend in those currencies. But if you want to, you can spend crypto as well. So
what's your take, Mark, on things like, Europe, I know, has started a process to explore digital currency. I know China is well on its way. The US is well behind, but I know that even in the US, they've highlighted that it's a possibility that they'll push forward with some form of digital currency. How does that play alongside some of these crypto activities?
Yeah, again, another good question. So CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, I think is what you're referring to, which are in effect like a central bank e-money. So what they effectively do is they give you access to your money through their own bank account, but they don't give you. So basically, it removes cash, or M0 or M1, if anyone's done economics out there. So it removes that from the money supply, and replaces it by electronic money, or CBDCs, which is basically a cryptographic form of money controlled by the central bank, though. So it's a big success in China because obviously it's highly communist, and therefore they like control. Therefore, it works in that type of environment. I've had one or two conversations with regulators over here about their plans and what they're doing, and they've provided some information about what they're looking to do. Now they are looking at it. There's concerns by mainstream banks because they'll be losing the ability, people not having cash, or money won't be going to their bank accounts in the same way. They'll be using almost like the Bank of England's ledger and companies like us, to be able to move money around,
right?
Which means that the banking model that has existed for hundreds of years in the UK will be challenged, and
I
clearly
think credit cards would be challenged, I suppose, too, right? I mean,
it will affect everything to do with financial services, and hence there's a degree of measured caution on the process that needs to follow for the adoption. And there's also concern, for example, that every step of the way, you have no privacy, and there's those privacy laws that need to be considered alongside AML laws. So one of the biggest challenges I think some people have, if you're a hardcore crypto enthusiast, you love the fact that you can move money around and nobody knows where it goes. But as soon as you start bringing it into the banking environment, then clearly people want to know where did it come from, because there's money laundering rules, and we all follow those, of course. So it's removing cash, and you could pay your window cleaner, you could pay your gardener in cash, or your builder. That is fast, disappearing. And there are, people need to recognize that the opportunity to launder money is very much is reduced. You can't do that with us at all,
right?
And the ability to avoid tax is all the loopholes have been closed up. So
the more you regulate it, the more it'll have kind of a positive impact, because more individuals will feel safe to get involved, so more capital will flow into it, and hopefully remove some of these fears that people have on.
And I think that's it, right, Ben. And I think people need to accept that the inevitable move forward with CBDCs or indeed with cryptocurrencies does mean a wider acceptance, and you can't have vast sums of money moving around over borders when you don't know where it's came from and what the purpose is. And I do fully embrace the laws and rules on money laundering, of course, as one should. But there is that slight dynamic about, well, what about my privacy? It's I can spend £500 in and buy something with cash, but nobody knows where that's going. So they need to address that, and there's a degree of need to address privacy issues, and I get that. But the corollary of that is we need to avoid money laundering.
I got it. Well, Mark, it's been a really interesting conversation. I am excited about Ziglu and what you're embarking on. I truly feel that we're at this moment where we will see institutions such as Ziglu be the new institutions, maybe the neo institutions, so to speak, of how this stuff will work. And maybe institutions are the wrong word to use, because it will be so distributed in its nature. but demanded by generations of folks that are dealing with the legacies of some of those difficult models. You mentioned at the beginning the idea of the overdraft, and when I was at grad school in England, my God, the overdraft fees was just a nightmare for everyone, definitely for me. So I do remember those very, very well. So I'm very happy about what you're doing. We've been speaking with Mark Hipperson. He's the founder and CEO of Ziglu. Ziglu is a modern neobank offering crypto, FX, and investments. Mark has done a lot of amazing things. He founded a UK retail bank and 2 FCA-regulated financial technology businesses. He is a commentator and speaker on banking, FinTech, crypto technology, everything related to banking. And certainly anyone that's listened to this whole broadcast will attest. Mark is the guy to speak to about this stuff. If anyone wanted to reach you, Mark, let us know where they can find you.
You can find me on LinkedIn, on Twitter. Are the best two ways, or drop me an email at hello@ziglu.io.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, listen, thank you so much for being on UNCAGED, and we look forward to talking to you again.
Great talking with you. Thanks very much.
Cheers.